Hello and welcome to Beat Batter Bake with me, Upasana. So whenever we have a celebration at home, the first thing we do is head to a bakery to buy a decadent cake. Our recipe today is going to solve that problem when you are going to make a celebration cake right at home. So today we are going to make a chocolate truffle cake. For that you will need 150 grams of all-purpose flour, that is maida, 25 grams of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half teaspoon of baking soda. We have to sift our dry ingredients 2 times to incorporate more air in our batter. We are going to sift our dry ingredients for the second time. Now that our dry ingredients are ready, let's move on to the second step of the recipe. For that we'll need 80 grams of butter. I am using salted butter. In this I am going to add 60 grams of sugar. Now we are going to cream them together. Once it becomes slightly pale in color, we are going to add 5 tablespoons of condensed milk to it. We have to beat it together again. Once it becomes smooth, that means it's ready. Now we need 125 ml of milk. In that, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence and 1 teaspoon of instant coffee powder. Mix it together. The addition of coffee enhances the chocolate flavor. Now we have to mix our wet and dry ingredients in batches. These are my dry ingredients. Little bit of milk. And just fold it together. Why we are mixing them in batches? So that they get mixed easily and you don't have to stir too much. Stirring too much makes a batter and cake tough. Now we have to put this batter in our prepared 6-inch baking tin. I have already greased this with butter and put a parchment paper at the bottom. Now push the batter from the center to the sides. Now tap this on the table 2 times to get rid of all the air bubbles. This goes in a preheated oven at 180 degrees for 30 minutes. Now that our cake is in the oven, let's make a sugar syrup for it. This sugar syrup is going to make the cake more soft and moist. For this we'll need 3 spoons of sugar and half cup of water. We have to heat this together till the sugar dissolves. Our sugar has dissolved completely and this is ready. We have to let this cool completely. You can add a cinnamon stick or some orange peel to it for added flavor. Our cake is ready. Let it cool in the tin for 5 to 10 minutes. Our 10 minutes are up. Now let's unmold the cake. Take a knife and run it on the sides. Now take a plate, cover the cake and invert it. Slowly lift your tin up. Remove the parchment paper and there, our cake is ready. Now let's flip our cake once again. Let it cool completely and then we move to assembling it. Now let's move on to step number 3, that is making the chocolate truffle icing. For that I have 2 cups of fresh cream here in a pot and I'm going to heat it. Switch the gas off just before it comes to a boil. Now add this cream to 4 cups of dark chocolate, that is 750 grams. I am using compound dark chocolate here. You can use any chocolate of your choice. Now let's add this hot cream to our chocolate. I am adding 2 tablespoons of salted butter to it for added shine. Let it sit for at least 2 minutes and then stir it. If your chocolate has not melted completely, you can put it on a double boiler and melt it. So this should be the consistency of our chocolate truffle icing. It just tastes heavenly. Now we have to let this sit for at least 3 to 4 hours for it to thicken up. Now since we have baked this cake in a very small tin, that is 6 inches, cracks and domes are a normal feature, so don't worry about it. We are going to cut this off and level the cake. You will need a serrated knife to cut the layers of your cake. Keep your knife straight and slowly rotate the cake. Now I am cutting the second layer. We have cut our cake into 2 layers. Here is the first layer and this is the second layer. Now I am going to soak the second layer with our sugar syrup. Our truffle icing has thickened up and now I am going to put it on a layer. Starting with 2 tablespoons. Now with a spatula, start spreading it. Now I'm going to transfer the first layer on the cake and soak it with sugar syrup. If your cake is crumbly and it falls apart, don't worry. You can always patch it up. This is a really very forgiving cake. Now I'm going to soak this layer with some more sugar syrup. Now let's take some more truffle and start icing our cake. Now we have just crumb coated our cake. That is, we have got all the crumbs of the cake and made a smooth finish. Now we have to keep it in the fridge for 10 minutes and then we will do a final finish. So it's been 10 minutes and now it's time to give the final finish to our cake. I have put our chocolate truffle for 10 seconds in the microwave to get the shine back. I have a bench scraper which I'm going to use to smoothen the sides of the cake. If you don't have one, you can use the back of your knife. Now you smoothen the top by taking the sides inside. Because chocolate truffle is a thick and sticky icing, I have put the cake in the fridge for 10 minutes. I have put the truffle in the microwave for 30 seconds and it has become liquid again and shiny too. Now I'm going to pour this on our cake. Now without touching it too much, just shake the cake to get a smooth top. Now it's time to decorate our cake. If you have had any trouble transferring the cake from your working table to your cake stand, you can always pipe your thick ganache around it and cover it up. Now we are going to make swirls on our cake using the star tip nozzle. Now I'm adding some white chocolate sprinkles on top. So our rich, decadent chocolate truffle cake is ready, which you can enjoy in your next house party. Don't forget to subscribe to Rajshri Food. Until next time, bye-bye.
What is Christmas without a slight nip in the air, smell of freshly baked stuff, and a house that suddenly looks happy and colorful? And this Christmas, I'm baking a batch of cupcakes with my favorite ingredient, peanut butter. So here's the recipe. First, I'm going to start with sifting all the dry ingredients in a bowl. This is 1 cup of plain flour, 1 tablespoon milk powder, half a teaspoon soda bicarb, and half a teaspoon baking powder. Just sift all this together. In a separate bowl, now I'm going to mix all the wet ingredients. I have 2 tablespoons of softened butter, 200 grams of condensed milk, 1 teaspoon vanilla essence, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. In the batter, I'm using the chunky peanut butter. And now start whisking this. And now I'm going to add all the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. This batter is too thick, so I'm going to add 100 ml of aerated soda, and this batter is ready. I'm going to wet an ice cream scoop with water, scoop in some batter and drop it in a paper cup. So in this way, fill in all your paper cups. Just tap it lightly. Now these go in a preheated oven at 180 degrees for 15 minutes. For the frosting, I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of softened butter, whisk it for a minute. And now to this I'm going to add 1 packet of Philadelphia cream cheese. Make sure it's at room temperature. Also 1 cup of sifted icing sugar. To this I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of smooth peanut butter. And this frosting is ready. Keep it in the refrigerator till you're ready to use. Fill the piping bag with the frosting. Cool the cupcakes for at least 2 hours before you ice it. And now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to fill a little bit of the icing in the center. So I have an apple corer here and I'm just going to make a hole. If you don't have an apple corer, you can even use a knife. Into the hole, fill a little bit of the icing so that when you bite into it, you get a lot of icing from inside. I'm using a big star nozzle to make the design on top. I'm going to do a very simple design to start with, especially for beginners. Just make dots. Give equal pressure while pressing down on the piping bag and pull it up. Make sure you cover the whole cake. In the same way, finish all your cupcakes. I'm going to grate a little bit of dark chocolate on it, just a little bit. unwrap your Christmas presents with these mouth-watering peanut butter cupcakes. Till then, wish you a Merry Christmas and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Christmas is around the corner, and this certainly calls for a chocolate recipe. Welcome to Rajshri Food. This is the Bombay chef Varun Inamdar, and today let's make a chocolate walnut fudge exclusively for you. How do I look? Let's begin. First things first. Condensed milk in a pan. While this starts cooking, I'll add in the chopped chocolate, which is dark chocolate, and allow this chocolate to melt completely. While the chocolate is cooking and melting, I'll also add in some salted butter. Mix this nicely and make sure this mixture boils nicely for 3 to 5 minutes on low flame. Make sure you start scraping the pan at regular intervals to avoid any burnt chocolate. Once this mixture starts cooking for 3 to 5 minutes, it converts into a lumpy mass, and that's exactly how we want it. And once this happens, I'll be adding in the crushed walnuts. I've coarsely ground the walnuts. These are untoasted walnuts, which have been just lightly run into a grinder. We need to give this an even mix and make sure it becomes a nice homogeneous mixture. This mixture needs to cook for somewhere around 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes on low flame. The natural oils in the walnut also get released in this cooking process, and that's what adds to the uniqueness of this walnut fudge. Once this mixture starts frothing on the sides, off goes the flame, and here you see the natural oils from the walnut have also released, and that will help in demolding this fudge. So the next thing is to transfer this in a mold or a pan. I'm going to tap this lightly and even the top completely. Once the top is nice and even, I'll be studding the top with toasted walnuts. Allow this to cool down to room temperature, which would take anywhere between an hour or so. Alternately, you can also refrigerate this for somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes. This has set completely well. Let's now cut this and start plating. With this, your decadent chocolate walnut fudge is ready. Make this part of your Christmas celebrations. Merry Christmas to you and your entire family.
Hello and welcome to Masala Trails with me, Smita. A crumble is a very popular dish in Britain and can be made in a sweet or a savory version. But since Christmas is just around the corner, I'm going to show you how to make a crumble with apples. This can be served with some amazing warm custard or some simple cold vanilla ice cream. So let's head straight to the kitchen and make this quick and easy dessert. So for this apple crumble, I have chopped 6 apples to 1 inch in size. I'm going to cook them and coat them with some sugar and cinnamon powder. I'm going to add 1.5 cup of caster sugar. Keep the flame on a medium. I'm going to add some cinnamon powder to this, about a tablespoon, and mix this well.
Just go on sauteing this for 2 minutes. The apples are ready. Let's put them in a baking tray. Set them nicely. And let's get to make the crumble. For the crumble, I've taken half kg of flour, that is maida, and I'm going to take some butter, which is of room temperature, and I'm just going to prepare the crumble. Please observe how I've made this crumble very carefully. Take some butter and lightly just mix it with the tip of your fingers onto this flour. Add butter and gently with your fingertips, just go on mixing it well till it forms nice and crumbly like breadcrumbs. This takes a little while and some patience. Our crumble is ready. Let's put it on the apples. Don't make a very thick layer, maybe about 1 centimeter is good enough. Now we're going to bake it at 175 degrees for about 20-25 minutes till the layer on the top becomes nice and golden. I have preheated my oven. I'm just going to put this now into the oven and bake it. So while our apple crumble is getting baked, let's make some warm custard that goes very well with this dessert. Take some milk. I've taken about 1 liter. While the milk is getting boiled, just add some sugar to it, 1 cup of sugar. And let the milk boil. The milk has come to a boil. I'm going to add some custard powder, which I have made into a paste, adding some room temperature water. You need to continuously stir this. Once you add the custard powder, it takes about 2 to 3 minutes for this custard to become thick. Immediately switch off the flame. Our custard is ready. Let's wait for the apple crumble to become nice and golden. So our apple crumble is ready. Let's serve it with some nice warm custard. Relish this warm apple crumble with a custard on a wintry evening. Enjoy this festive season and wish you a Merry Christmas. Keep watching Rajshri Food.
24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Guys, stop eating the strawberries, yeah? Hi, welcome to Beat Batter Bake with me, Priyanka. Strawberries are in season and we have to make the most of it. And today we are going to make fresh strawberry cake with cream cheese frosting. For this we need 100 grams of regular flour, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, half teaspoon of baking powder. Now sift the 3 together. Okay. Next we need 100 grams of condensed milk. Okay. Then 60 ml of melted butter. Then we add 1 teaspoon of vanilla paste. Now mix it together. Okay. Next, now we're going to add 45 ml of milk.
Next, I'm going to mix the dry ingredients in 2 batches. Okay, now we add the second batch. Here we can add 2 tablespoons of milk to make it pouring consistency. Okay, cool. Now we are done with this. Now I have this lightly buttered and floured 6x8 rectangular tin for baking. You can also use a circular half kilo tin, that is also okay. I'm going to just scrape this entire batter. Now this will go for baking at 170 degrees Celsius for around 15 minutes. Till then, you guys are not gonna have the strawberries. Now it's time to make our strawberry jam. Did someone eat the strawberries? Anyways, we'll continue as is. Now for this we require 1 cup of chopped strawberries. I'm going to add it to our saucepan. Now I'm going to add to this 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. I'm going to mix this two together till the sugar completely melts. So this will take around 5 minutes because I'm going to let the strawberry cook for a little bit in the sugar. And look at this, the strawberries are nicely cooked in its own juices and sugar. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to pour this in another bowl. Okay. Now I'm going to let it cool down for a bit on the side and I'm going to check on my cake now. Okay, so our cake is baked. I'm going to demold it while it is still little hot. And I'm just going to turn it. So I'm going to keep the sponge and the jam aside for cooling while we make our cream cheese frosting. So here I have 100 grams of unsalted butter and 150 grams of cream cheese. I'm going to just mix the two together. Now I'm going to add half a cup of icing sugar. I'm going to add another half cup of icing sugar. Okay, so we are done with our cream cheese frosting and I'm going to add the strawberry jam to this. So our cream cheese frosting with a strawberry jam is ready. Now it's time to assemble the cake. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the top because it ends up being a little thick skin which I don't like in my cake if it comes out right. I'm done with this and now I'm just going to cut it in the center. Okay. I'm going to take our frosting. Then I'm going to top this manner, and I'm going to put a thin layer on top. This will go in the fridge for around half an hour to set, and then it's ready to be digged in. I'm ready to dig into the entire cake, but I'm not going to have it alone. I'm going to share it with my entire team that's been trying to steal the strawberries from me since morning. Well, till we finish off with this cake, you guys, if you like the video, hit like, mention in the comments below, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. See you next time.